Welcome back to Waste Some Time with Jason Green. I am Jason Green, and it's Monday. I hope I can offer you guys all a distraction and some entertainment, and that's why I'm here. Wishing everybody a happy Martin Luther King Day, and wherever you are, and also we remember Dr. King, but also the sad news of John Sykes passing away. I'm not sure he passed away today. The date hasn't been officially announced. I think he may have passed away a few days earlier, and the family has decided now was the time to go public with it. So fans of this show are definitely rock fans and definitely remember the legend that is John Sykes. We're going to talk about what I've been up to since I've last saw you. We'll remember John Sykes a little bit and much more right after this. Just wanna waste some time with you. Sometimes it seems too good to be true. Nobody out there can waste time with you. All right, thank you again for being here. A lot of new growth on the channel. I've been trying to put out more videos than before. Content, as the kids call it. I'm kicking off a career on TikTok now. Because it's the hot new platform. Anyway, there's a lot of content, and I've been trying to upload, almost 3 times, 4 times a week. At times, I think about making this show like a real talk show, maybe doing it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 3 days a week. I was thinking about doing a show called Wake Up and Waste Some Time with Jason Green, like a morning show. And I'll talk about some current events, and things that are happening in life, and have some guests and some variety, that kind of thing. Like a Regis and Kathy Lee, or Ryan, or whoever is on that show now, Kelly Ripa, whatever. But I've been going through all these ideas. The problem is about to go back on tour. And once that happens, it's really hard to upload videos. The whole month of March I'm spent on the sea. I'm going to be a seaman, essentially. And I've got to have videos uploaded, because it's hard to get, when you're a seaman, it's hard to get good internet. And so I'm going to have to make sure I upload things in advance. So anyway, that's just a little bit. New videos. If you guys have been keeping up with the show, the way the tour diaries work, which is I am the tour manager for Stephen Pearcy, and I travel the country with him. And I put up tour diaries. And what we're doing is for members, I'll show you 2 or 3 tour diaries before anybody else, and which is pretty cool. And you get to watch them ad free. Now, so I put new tour diaries out for everybody. There's another one coming for members, and then there's one out there right now for everyone, for the general pop, if you will, Gen Pop, as they say. I don't know who, but I heard they. And then I went to the Hollywood show and met Anna Margaret. That video was up yesterday. I went to a convention called Days of the Dead, and I met Ace Frehley. And there's a video about my experience that came out on YouTube this morning. I hope you'll watch it. And we'll talk about Ace Frehley and talk about everything. But before we get too carried away, we've got to remember John Sykes, English guitarist. I think he grew up a bit in Spain as well, but people in the comments already with the rest in peace John Sykes. So John Sykes had quite a career. I mean, Tigers of Pantang. I have the vinyl in my closet. Before I did the show today, I was looking for some of my John Sykes records to sort of share as memories. I wanted to be like Sean Clark and act like, oh, I just happen to have them right there. But Tigers of Pantang is where it probably started. And his career with Whitesnake was an interesting career, because he comes in to do the Slide It In American version. The record's recorded in the Europe with a UK version, and then Geffen decides they don't like all the double entendre. It's what's wrong with being sexy? Well, they said maybe it's sexist. Anyway, they decide that for Geffen to release Slide It In America, they're going to use a different lineup, and so a few of the musicians. Excuse my back. A few of the musicians were replaced And here is my American vinyl copy of Slide It In, signed by the late great John Sykes. Honor it was to have met him. And then this is, of course, the Whitesnake 1987, also signed by John Sykes. So he tours for Slide It In, and he records the guitars for the 1987 album. Adrian Vanderwerf played the solo and Here I Go Again, but everything else is John Sykes. And he co-wrote majority of that album. And then David Coverdale decides to clean house before they go on tour and fires everyone again. He's had such a relationship with David Coverdale. And so Vivian Campbell and Adrian Vandenberg end up in the music videos for the 1987 Whitesnake album. And it's funny because later, I'm jumping around, but later in his life, he auditioned, John Sykes, that is, he auditioned to be in Def Leppard. He lost the job to Vivian Campbell. And so I can only imagine what it would be like to be sitting there watching, your songs as they're being played live by somebody else. The videos, they're mimicking, as you know. So, okay. And then I'm jumping around because he was in Thin Lizzy before he was in Whitesnake, and had a bit of a run with Thin Lizzy on their last record. The last Thin Lizzy record is pretty much like a heavy metal album. I mean, it's much heavier. Some fans didn't like it. I like it, and I think looking back now, I think people go back and listen and go, "Wow, there's a lot more to Thin Lizzy besides The Boys Are Back in Town." In 2000, they reunited a version of Thin Lizzy that had Scott Gorham and John Sykes. John Sykes was singing. I believe Tommy Aldridge was also playing drums. And I was fortunate to see it, and I was fortunate to meet John Sykes, and he was cool. And again, I didn't even bring up Blue Murder, but jumping all over. People loved those Blue Murder records. They played on Headbangers Ball when I was a kid, Jelly Roll, and people really loved those records. They were hoping for a new one, and there was always talk about a new Blue Murder record right up until the end. There was always rumors. I heard rumors that John Sykes was going to appear at M3 this year. Obviously, that wasn't possible. He was sick with cancer. But I've heard so many bands that was linked to John Sykes possibly joining, and JC makes the point. You better go see your bands and buy your merch and do your meet and greets, because people are passing, and passing younger than they should. Okay, just trying to share some of the memories of other people had. I was fortunate to see John Sykes of Whitesnake at the Forum 1984 Slide It. Awesome. What an incredible memory. Yeah. Coverdale pulled in Ozzy. And what's interesting is Sykes auditioned for Ozzy as well. John Sykes grew up a Gary Moore fan. Yeah. And Bad Reputation. That's probably the most popular Thin Lizzy song with Sykes, I believe. Let's see. This is Moose Green. Gutted. John Sykes, one of the best Lizzy Whitesnake Blue Murder. Shame you never got to interview him, Jason, but on my accounts, he was reclusive. He was very reclusive. And people had asked me before about having him on the show. And it was definitely something that was discussed. But he was hard to get a hold of, as we've said. He was supposed to make a record with Golden Robot Records at the time. They had a dispute. I don't know exactly where it went. Golden Robot sponsored a contest on the show in the first year, if anyone remembers. But and so he was always about to put out another record. He was always about to do something. Carmine, a piece, said multiple times that there could be another Jelly Roll record. There's only two, but they were hoping for a new one. So Anyway, rest in peace to John Sykes. My picture of John Sykes and I is on my social media. If someone would like to see it, it's on my Instagram, which is JSIN_green, like the color, and then on Facebook, Jason Green. So if you want to see that. Anyway, sad news. Sorry, I didn't give you the greatest eulogy for John Sykes. I'm sure someone's going, that son of a bitch didn't mention this, or he forgot that, or the internet is filled with people who do that. I have a video up right now. I went to visit the restaurant where they filmed TV show Alice. I love 70s and 80s television. I'm definitely a sucker for a good sitcom. And I went to this diner. Now, I'm very clear in the video that the only thing you see on the TV show is you see the diner in the credits. That's it. And not even in the first season. It's the second season on. And that's it. And that the producers were driving by and they saw this diner and they liked the logo and it ended up in the credits. I was very clear. I do my videos on the fly. I do this show on the fly. I have no notes, as you can tell. And but people in the comments on this Alice video, they lose their ever-loving minds. At one point, I'm talking and I'm kind of muttering, and I go, "Oh, look at the waitress," and I'm saying, "Oh, kiss my grits," and I go, "Stow it, dingbat," And I know it's dingy because Mel was in the Navy, dingy, okay, but everyone has to go no. Dingbat was something that was said by Archie Bunker. Dingy is the who the fuck cares? Get a life. You know what I mean? I love positive comments, but I don't have time. And then read the comments. Don't add a comment that's so 50 people have to comment it. I also screwed up on the years. I was just riffing. I was getting loose, baby, loose. And I said that it ran until 82. It ran to 85. Who cares? I'll try harder to give you quality journalism. Okay. But if you're getting your news from me, you probably got a bigger problems. You know what I mean? We're in a world where honesty and is such a rampant thing. I mean, right? Anyway, so but I love that people are watching it. And that video is well over 40,000 views. It was a video that I did for myself to go to breakfast, and I didn't expect anyone to watch it. Yet people liked it. So yeah, okay, right. People take things literally. People want to be involved. The problem with YouTube is we're just hanging out together, right? We're just talking and people want to be involved. Everyone has a platform and I know that a lot of these scumbags, they Google it and then they're like, oh, he was wrong. He was there. Stow it. You know what I mean? Stow it. Okay. So let's, people still remembering John Sykes, which I understand. All right. People seem like they want to talk about Ace Frehley a little bit. I'm down with that. Jason, you mentioned in your most recent video that you said you spent about $500 on Ace. If you had to guess, how much did Ace make that day for them? Okay, well, we'll talk about it. Sean Clark is the expert. He can tell you what people make at conventions more than I could because Sean Clark, who appears on the show every Wednesday or most Wednesdays, is a convention booking agent. Handles the Cast of Halloween, Scream, and tons of others. Wednesday 13 as well. So I went to the Days of Dead convention. It's here in Vegas, and I do collect memorabilia. I collect memorabilia for my personal archives, and I collect memorabilia as an investment. Some of you are buying stocks and bonds and CDs. I can't understand why compact discs would suddenly be worth money, but listen, I'm not an expert on banking. So anyway, I collect things and I put them away. And I thought Ace Frehley, I thought his pricing was fair. A lot of people do not agree with me. They think that you should. There's a lot of people out there who don't think you should charge for autographs in general. And listen, this is a business now. And same with meet and greets. People get mad that Stephen Pearcy charges for meet and greets. Not just Stephen, they get mad at everyone. Well, what do you want to do? If you play a venue that fits 5,000 people, you want to have him just stop and meet all 5,000 people, you have to put a price on it so you can cap these things. Some of these celebrities at conventions, if they didn't have a price, It, they would never leave. It would just go on all day and all night. So I showed the pricing. I'm battling a sinus thing still, so I apologize. But the Ace Frehley's pricing starts at $60 for what's considered a standard item, $100 for a premium item, and then if you bring a guitar, if you bring a Chinese fake bootleg guitar, which a lot of people call Chipsons, instead of a Gibson, it's called a Chipson. He'll sign that for $500, 1,000 for a guitar that's worth more. That sounds crazy, but you know what? Ace Frehley's a legend, and if you want to own a signed guitar, and plus people resell these things like crazy. The majority of the internet is loaded with people on eBay reselling it. So if he signed it for free, whatever. You don't have to buy anything. I always say that too. You don't have to go, and no one's making you do it. So I went to the convention and I got these Funko Pop signed, and I think they came out incredible. They're on my social media and they're in the video. Go watch the video. All you have to do is Google search Jason Green, Ace Frehley, Jason Green, Days of the Dead, whatever. And I was happy with it. Now Ace is a quiet guy. He put his head down, signed. He is hard of hearing in one of his ears, maybe both by now. So it's hard to have a conversation. I had no questions to ask of Ace Frehley. I don't go to the convention and go, so when you were recording Love, I don't care less. You know what I mean? You sign my memorabilia, I'll go home and watch my History DVD. And I was very happy. Now, how much did Ace Frehley make? Well, I mean, he's there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. On Sunday, he was there for an hour. He shows up late, and he's usually only working when there's a line. Now, most people buy private signings with him, where they buy 30, 40, 50 items at a time. Say Ace Frehley made $150,000 this weekend, somewhere in that ballpark. I think that's safe. Got to remember guitars, things like that. I would guess between 100 and 150,000. So that's my guess. Check out the video, watch it. Again, not everyone understands this memorabilia world. There's a whole culture of people who go to conventions and are more than happy to pay, uh, um, a fee to meet their favorite person. And I'm all for it. I am a supporter. I'm trying to read some of your questions and comments. And the question here is water-based paint pens would just scratch off a glossy guitar. So there's water-based and oil-based. I like the water-based. Some people are against them. Yes, you've got to protect these things, or you could scratch them off. It's paint. Paint can be scratched off, so you've got to be careful. I get these things signed and then I put it around into a protector. This is what happens when people don't buy albums anymore. Well, there's that too. You have to have. There's got to be a way to make money, and he still has to pay for the hotel space and staff, but not a bad weekend. Well, no, that's probably not true at all. In most cases, the hotel is paid for by by the convention. Some conventions even pay a guarantee, saying, "We'll guarantee you'll make this much to appear." And so hotels, things like that, can be factored in. As far as staff goes, yeah, I mean, Ace has people who work with him, but some of these people are appointed by the convention. The convention has volunteers for every one of their celebrities. So I don't think Ace was paying out that much money. And listen, the majority of that money is cash. So I know we live in a very honest country where everyone's paying their taxes on time or showing their tax records. I'm sure Ace Frehley is the same. Question, Jason, can you shed any light on M3? They've gone dark at this point. Love the show. Well, I can tell you that there was a big band that was going to appear at M3, and I knew all about it. And I talked to the band yesterday, and now it seems like they're not going to be able to do it. Nothing to do with M3. M3 is happening. There's dates. I know the dates. It's not my place to give any announcement, but I'll be there. It's going to be great. If you've gone to M3 before, you will want to go again. And just for that, stay tuned. Someone asking about me managing. I don't know. I don't know what the future holds. I would rather. Well, I'm going to stay with Stephen Pearcy until the end if I can. And then after that, I'd have to think about if I want to work with any other bands. Again, it's a bit of an undertaking. And you want to work with an artist who trusts you and your visions, and or at least is willing to try them. You don't hire a manager to tell them what to do. Now, tour managing and managing are different things. Tour managing, you keep things moving. Managing, you come up with ideas and handle business and other things as well. Um, so you want to do a Karate Kid technique for managing, as I say. I say you do. You hired me, and I managed a bunch of young artists and stuff who weren't. They thought they knew it all. Well, if you know it all, then you don't need me. And so anyway, I don't know. I think my managing days are. I don't know. Nam, I don't think I'll be able to go because I have prior commitments. I'll be in Spokane, Washington with Stephen Pearcy this weekend. I would love to go, but I just don't think I will be able to. How did you become a tour manager? Well, I drew the short straw. They said, "Who wants to be a tour manager?" And everyone stepped back, and I was still standing there. I went, "Holy shit, I'm a tour manager." A lot of luck, or unluck, I should say. Met people, thought I could do it. I managed a band called Sin City Sinners, a band I created in 2007, and got to know. And the gimmick of that band was every week we had a special guest in, and I got to know a lot of musicians, and a lot of musicians liked the way uh, I did things. Some did not, and that's okay too. So anyway, 300 people watching right now, and I wish that I just stuck to a plan, but we're not that anyway. But M3, stay tuned, and Justin, thank you for your super chat. There will be an announcement that will knock you off your socks. It may be as early as tomorrow morning. I will also tell you that as soon as I am allowed, as soon as the word is official, I will be here live to discuss the M3 lineup with you. I wish right now I could tell you. I can tell you one thing though, maybe two. Everything in these groups, the people are guessing, 99% is wrong. So for those who think they know the dates of M3, you're wrong. For those who think they know who's playing, you're wrong. For those who think they know the histories and the careers and of people, a lot of them are also not accurate. Mark Sanchez is here. Mark, how are you? Thank you for the super chat. Have you ever met someone that you look forward to meeting and now you wouldn't care to meet again? It's a great question. It's a question I'd have to think about. They say don't meet your heroes. And occasionally, way back in the day, I met Bruce Willis, may he rest in peace. And I thought he was really the biggest jerk I'd ever met in my life. And I'm not the only one who said that. I feel bad about what happened to him now and his condition. But look, I'm not that big a fan of his anyway. But yeah, you meet people. They say don't meet your heroes. I was so scared to meet Chevy Chase. Chevy Chase is my hero. He was known to be a jerk, but every time I met him, he was fine. He was sort of quiet. But I was happy to meet him under these paid guises because if people are usually nicer when there's money involved. I know Eddie Trunk says, these people don't want to meet you. You talk about the meet and greets, and they're just there for money. They don't want to shake your hand. That's okay. These people have given me a lot of entertainment, and I'm happy just to take a picture and tell them thank you and have a nice memory. I don't think I need to be their best friends. Although, listen, I met a lot of my heroes, and Stephen Pearcy was not very nice to me when I met him when I was a kid. He was actually a bit of a jerk. I've told him that. We joke about it often. Now, I couldn't think of a better person to work with. I really enjoy the time I spend with Stephen. Stephen Pearcy will be 68 years old this year. One day, Stephen Pearcy's not going to be here. He's already fought more than most people will ever fight in their lives health-wise. And I think about the time I spend with him sitting on planes, sitting in cars, trains, whatever, ferries, and I'll always remember uh, these stories. To hear just the background and just I hit the history of things. So I'm seeing guesses in the comments that are also uh, slightly off. Let's see here. People like the tour diary with the rain when George Lynch plays in the rain. I can't remember what episode it is, but George Lynch is in the icon. It's a popular one, a thumbnail. I was standing with the promoter watching and said, "Why is this happening? Why is this guy playing in lightning? This is dangerous. You're facing some massive lawsuits should something happen, including slipping and falling." I said, "I just want you to know I'm not going to let Stephen Pearcy play. No, under no circumstances." Now, the weather forecast said the weather was going to lighten up within half hour, maybe even less. And I said, "I'm just telling you, you should get George Lynch off the stage. Save these fans." There was no covering. These poor people were stranded, stuck. Most people left, but if you wanted to stay, you were covered in rain. And that was a good example of tour managing. People on the channel think I just jack around all day and go look at cool stuff, but you do have to show some business sometimes, right? Does Sin City Rejects play occasionally? Not right now. We played sort of into the pandemic. I played 100 shows, made a record called Death of a Nation. It's on Spotify. I'm going to re-release it in different formats. I was thinking about maybe Sin City Rejects could have an AI feature. I was going to make some animated music videos for the songs so that people can hear them. Myself, Johnny Rocks, and Max Mazursky all live in Vegas. Scotty Griffin lives in Florida. Maybe one day, we'll do it for fun and play again. And now people will appreciate us. Max Mazursky was also the original drummer for Warrant, and he's going to come on the show and talk about that. So before I get back to your questions and comments, wait, there's a super chat, so let me handle that. Steve Jackson. Steve writes, "Hey, Jason, saw a Terrifier line in your video very early today. What's your favorite horror movie? As a couple of your faves, I'm a Shining fan." Favorite horror movie question comes up a lot. A lot of people, when you ask what's your favorite, they try to think of something, surprising. I remember I worked in a record store in high school, and this guy is Russian. He said, "The records without Jim Morrison are the better Doors records." And come on, it's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. They did make Doors records without Jim Morrison. But people would say things to be cool. Sid Barrett is the better Pink Floyd. Get out of here. Peter Green, Fleetwood Mac, is better than Rumor. Stop it. People say such stupid stuff because they're trying to be cool. When I was a kid, I remember everyone was like, "Yeah, I'm into Saigon Kick, Love Hate." Those are big ones. You would say that because you didn't want to admit you were really listening to Bon Jovi, Warrant, Poison. Everyone tries to be cool. I don't like to try to be cool. My favorite horror movie of all time is probably The Creature from the Black Lagoon, if you consider that a horror movie. But yeah, I mean, it is classic horror. Universal movies changed my life. Those are the first horror movies I ever saw. The first time I ever saw the Universal monsters was in Abbott and Costello Meets Frankenstein. Seeing Bela Lugosi dressed as Dracula, there will never be another Dracula in my eyes. There's no one else I would look at and see Dracula other than Bela Lugosi. Anyway, so that's where it started for me. Halloween 1978 scared the hell out of me. Yet I loved it. I had to watch it every year. And so I grew up on Halloween, Friday the 13th. But movies like The Shining are amazing too. So it's a half-ass answer. I'm not the guy who goes, "Well, my top 10, I've never been good at that. Let me tell you a little bit. Oh, sorry, Steve. Thank you. Tell you a little bit about what I've been up to. When I'm home from touring, I don't really want to go anywhere. And if you watch my channel, a lot of people go, "You are living your best life. You're always going somewhere." And that is the goal, because I know that one day the dirt is going to be placed over my nap, and that'll be it. It's coming. I mean, I'm hoping it's not tonight because I haven't eaten yet. But at some point, it's over. It's over, Johnny. It's over. And so I try to make the most of life. I'm on the road. If I'm in some city and there's something to see, I'm going. I don't need to see any more hotel rooms. I'm going, and I don't care. I'm 50 years old, and I kick, and I stretch, and I kick. And I feel it. I feel like I'm 150 sometimes with my diabetes, especially. But I get out and see things. But when I'm home, sometimes I get lazy. A lot of people do. And when you're on tour, you go through tour withdrawal and you keep waiting for lobby call. I don't think the average person knows what touring is like. You get into a city, you get a few hours sleep, you get up to go to sound check, you pray that you can get a few hours sleep between sound check and the show, and then sometimes at 3 in the morning, you're heading to some airport to get on a plane at 5 in the morning to rinse and repeat. It's tiring and it's tough, and I still try to make the most of it. But you always are setting alarms. Okay, sound check is at this time. Okay, I got to have a security meeting at this time. And so when you're laying in bed, you're in this thing waiting. Oh my God, I gotta go to sound check. I got to do something. I got to go get Steven. And so it takes a while to get comfortable. So I don't go to as many things locally as I should. I'm trying. Um, when we're on the road, all we think about is, wouldn't it be nice to have a week to do nothing? But then you get home and you go, so what am I going to do? Anyway, Craig Gass, the comedian, was nice enough to invite Michelle and I to come see him at Jimmy Kimmel's Comedy Club, which is on the Las Vegas Strip. It's in a thing called the Link. It's a little promenade by the big wheel. And I am phobic about going anywhere, doing anything. But I was feeling good that day. He'd asked me a couple times to come see his comedy show, and I wanted to. I've never been able to. And so we were chatting, and I went to the Saturday at 9:30 performance, the final show of his run. He did 4 shows at Jimmy Kimmel's Comedy Club, and I wasn't feeling well, to be honest. During the day, I had a sinus infection. I felt like I was going to cry. The pain was so bad everywhere in my head, and I kept rinsing my sinuses, taking hot showers. I felt well enough. Las Vegas is starting to turn into Hollywood in some ways. When you're a band playing the whiskey and you're opening for somebody or whatever, and you ask your friends to come out, nobody wants to go. If you ask someone in California who's like, over across the 405 past Mulholland or whatever bullshit direction, nobody wants to go out because parking is ridiculous. Well, we learned that for sure. When we got to the parking thing, it was $35 to park. You pay as you leave. Um, okay, whatever. I'm not a cheap man. So anyway, and that's the cost of going out these days, the cost of entertainment. And so I told myself, all right, we're going to go to this comedy club. They're going to push drinks on us. I don't drink the devil's alcohol, but Michelle is an advocate of Satan and does. And so I said, but they're going to push us on drinks, and then I get anxiety about going anywhere. So Craig says, let's hang out. So we get there early because I'm always early, and I see Craig is doing a meet and greet with the crowd who's coming out. And I thought maybe we just get on the line and shake his hand and go, oh my God, it was fantastic. And then just go home. And then don't have to take the chance, because what if Craig isn't funny? What if I don't think he's funny? Someone thinks he's funny. He's headlining comedy clubs across the world. But he saw us, and I was busted. So this Jimmy Kimmel's Comedy Club is 2 floors. They have a little lounge downstairs, and then you go up the stairs to the Comedy Club Theater. And it's a pretty big room. It's not like the old days, a little smoky club. But I waited till everyone went out, and then I started talking to Craig. Now, for those of you who don't know Craig Gass, I know him from the Howard Stern show. He was on Howard Stern. And he has the best Gene Simmons impression. What I liked about Craig is he did impressions that not everybody did. Not many people do a Gene Simmons impression. Now we all do Craig's Gene Simmons impression. I can't tell you how many times I say, this is Gene Simmons from Kiss, and it's Craig's impression. Everybody. So he was very funny on Howard Stern. He was on the TV show Sex and the City. He does voices on Family Guy. And I started to hear his story about how his family was deaf, and that's how he learned how to speak and do voices from television. And I thought it was an interesting story. And he did an interview with Craig on this channel. He appeared on the Christmas special. He's a very likable guy, and which is why I was worried that what if the comedy sucks? and I have to lie, you know. And I was sort of prepared to tell Michelle based on where we're sitting. Maybe at certain points uh, we'll laugh at the same time. You know, we'll rehearse a little something. We go, you know, just to make it look like we care. So we go into the theater. We were with Craig, so there's no getting out now. We walk up and we went to our seats, and of course they put us on like a dais in the back. There's this one raised section, the last row. I like being in the back, but oh my God, now we're on a platform, and so I look at this menu, and they got this great menu. Jimmy Kimmel's got a great menu. But then I'm thinking, do I really want to order food? Like, how long is this comedy going to go? I don't. They're going to bring it, and then he's going to say thank you, good night, or I'm the asshole. The people else are trying to watch, and I'm the how much, you know, and then the card. Your card was the. Who knows what's going to happen? So this is what goes on. I'm supposed to go here and have a laugh. I'm not working yet. The anxiety of going anywhere sets in. So, and I had to also warn Michelle that sometimes these comedians, these young comics, they go, and so where are you guys from? How long have you been together? I don't want to be in your act. I got my own act. I got my own act right here. And I'm probably reaching more people. So I don't want to do it. But anyway, we sit in the back. Now I know no one's going to talk to us at least. Guy comes over and Michelle has, you know, some devil potion cocktail, $18, by the way, which is not that bad, I guess. I passed. It wasn't like a 2-drink minimum, you know. So there's a guy who hosts it. He's like a young guy. He's like a young Pete Davidson or something. I don't know. And these guys all do these herky jerky jokes, and they're moving real quick, whatever. And then he introduces another guy who's doing herky jerky jokes, and everything involves my girlfriend doesn't like me, my penis, um, and then maybe some toilet humor, and it's all the same shit. And no one really owns the stage. Which maybe is why they're opening, you know, or emceeing. I could do it. I could MC one of these shows, and I don't need jokes. You know, I did stand up comedy once, by the way, twice with the Sin City Sinners for charity. And it's not easy. It's the most difficult profession. I tell Craig, you pick the worst profession. It's like being naked in front of people and hoping that they're entertained by your wiener or by anything. But it ain't easy. It ain't easy to be up there and try to hold people. Craig's act was about an hour long. That ain't easy. An hour of having someone just talk to you. By the way, I do it every day here. But he has to be funny, and if you're not, the people, at least you jackasses can't yell at me. I can delete you. But in person, you could get heckled and whatever. So we sit there, and then the second comedian was okay. You know, a couple of jokes are funny. I feel like I've heard it all before. And then we're getting ready for the main event, Craig Gass. And Craig comes out. And the thing that I notice is that Craig owns the stage. And that's why he's headlining. I mean, he sets the pace and he does his show. I don't know how much is improvised. I'd love to have Craig on and talk about it. I mean, sometimes he works with things. Someone in the audience was disappointed when he came out because they thought they were going to see Jimmy Kimmel. And it was funny. Craig worked with it. And then here it is, a callback for the show. It's a crazy life being a comedian. You're playing these clubs, Zanies and Ha-Ha's and Uncle Freddy's, and you're traveling from place to place, and then you go back to your motel room and probably want to blow your brains out. I mean, it's not an easy life. And now you got to go and hawk your T-shirts after the show. You got to go down to the merch booth. Got to make anything you can. One of the things I notice now is it used to be when you introduce a comedian, you go, "You've seen him on the Tonight Show. You've seen him." Now they go, "You've seen him on TikTok. You've seen him on YouTube. 50,000 subscribers." I'm like, wow, that's a credit now. Son of a bitch. I mean, I had no idea. Anyway, I really enjoyed Craig's act, and it would be stupid for me to tell you jokes from Craig's act. There's nothing less funny than someone who's not a comedian telling you what a comedian did. But he held the audience, and And a lot of people did not know who Craig was. There are people who just are on the Vegas Strip who come out to hang out, and he held them and he told his stories, and he told some stories about his family, and of course he told some stories about Gene Simmons, which was really funny. And after the show, I stopped and talked to Craig for a while after he got done hawking his T-shirts and meeting and greeting. He does have a great shirt though, gas with the Kiss logo. I was going to tell him that Michelle was here to cease and desist him from Gene Simmons, but I never got to that line. And then we're talking again, and we had such a great time. And he had to go at 4 a.m. He had to go to Portland, the life of a comedian. And so we cut it short, and we'll see each other again. And I hope Craig will come on the show again as well. We got to the parking lot. It was freezing. I hate to complain. Vegas isn't that cold, but it was like 35 degrees for Vegas. That might as well be a hell froze over. We get in the car. We can't get out of the parking lot. As most things in life, the parking was insufficient. One way out. So we're just waiting and waiting. And Michelle is one of these drivers who gets impatient. She can be a bit cranky, as are most drivers. I would be the worst driver. There's a reason I don't drive. I couldn't do it. But so she's screaming and cursing and hitting the steering wheel. I forgot to mention, she doesn't like when I talk about her on the show. During the comedy show, they tell you put your phones away. And I wanted to look at my phone worse than anything during the opening act, not during Craig. And I look over and I see Michelle on her phone. Like, oh, they're gonna put a light on us and a siren. Woo! And listen, it was a tragic night. TikTok had just gone down for the first time, and people were really having a separation anxiety. But anyway, this woman comes over to us and goes, "Listen, I just broke the gate down on the other side if you guys want to get out of here for free." Well, when does this happen? So 5 cars turn around and we go through the gate that's been broken down, and we don't pay to park. If that's a crime, I don't think anyone watching cares. But so we didn't have to pay, and then we went to have all you can eat sushi, a place called Gorilla Sushi, which is strange because I went to this place for years, and now it's half Hispanic. It looks like, and they serve French fries. By the way, all you can eat sushi at 2 a.m. probably not the best idea. So anyway. That's my tribute to Craig Gass. When I was watching his show, all I'm thinking is I could talk for 30 minutes about the life of a comedian and this comedy show and these other people. And then I get here now and I'm just like, oh my God, John Sykes dies. What do I want to talk about anything? This is such a horrible day. All right. Well, let me go back now. Because what I do is I don't look at the comments when I'm riffing with you. Skylar says Craig is funny. Yes, he is. And Doc Martin and the Flannels knows him from the Howard Stern show, which is the same as I. I'm trying to read everything. I'm trying. Yeah, Craig Gass is awesome. And yes, people are looking to see a name for me, Craig Gass. Me, Wednesday 13, and Sean Clark. Tres Hombres, that's a choice. I'm going through them. There's a lot of names. I'm not sure we will actually find anything. Let's see. Chris has got to go because it's halftime is over at the national championship game. I don't even know what game that is. Ecto Cool, the Halloween Expo. I thought the Halloween Expo was a great video. 7 people watched it. There's 320 watching right now. It's probably more than people watch that video, but I think you would like it. Okay, I'm going through everything as fast as I can. And somebody said, hold on. I'm trying to catch up. Uh-oh. Hold on. Every now and then I get crazy. We all go a little bit mad. Doc Martin, big Howard fan, as am I. I think the reason so many people are watching right now is that you're all looking for an escape from the world. You know what I mean? We're all just looking to have a little fun, tell a few dick jokes, and go to sleep. Um, let's see. Oh, here's a good one. This is Bobby. Bobby says, "You guys are too old. Time to pack it up. You're embarrassing yourselves, and no one in your circle will tell you the truth." Now, I'm sure this comment was deleted, but unfortunately, I wanted to address this comment. You're too old. Okay, so let's go over this, Bobby, who's not here any longer. Uh, 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 Bobby, unfortunately, is in between medical appointments, and he can only chat soon. Bobby, by the way, best of luck on the penis enhancement. I'm hoping it works out this time. I know you've tried a few times. Anyway, I'm too old. Well, all right, I'm pretty old. It's time to pack it up. Pack what up? What is it that I do at 50 that I couldn't do before? A YouTube show? You're embarrassing yourselves. Okay, well, there's 300 people enjoying me being embarrassing. No one in your circle will tell you the truth. Bobby, it sounds like maybe the small penis has gotten you angry, and maybe you've decided to becoming what's called a keyboard warrior. Looks like he said the same comment 5 times. Oh my God. Well, Bobby's right. I'm too old. Good night, folks. I got to get some sleep. No, just kidding. I would have liked to talk to that idiot. Let's see. I'm reading your comments. Oh, I see. A lot of people were arguing. Yeah, all right. Ignore the hater. We do too. I usually ignore haters, but sometimes you got to address it. Ugh. Listen, now that I'm old and washed up and no one will tell me, I got to get serious and I can't do stupid things. All right, FMK, Barbara Eden, Jane Fonda, and Margaret back in the day. Let's get serious. I think going to get rid of Jane Fonda. She was hot back in the day, but not for me. I'm going to. I think I'm going to have relations with Barbara Eden, and I think I'm marry Aunt Margaret. Does that sound right? I think that's right. Oh, Ron Jeremy is going to hear to tell Bobby. Ron Jeremy said, "Suck it, Bobby." Thank you, Ron. And I'm glad you guys liked the Anne Margaret video. Listen, I just want to make the point that this live show is just a quick chance for us to chat. That's all it really is. This is not. I didn't rehearse this, believe it or not. Come on, we talk a little bit. We talk about the channel. We talk about whatever you guys want to talk about, and we see where it goes. And yes, sometimes someone like Bobby will come in and ruin the legacy of John Sykes. We're here to. We're having a remembrance. Damn it. All right, I'm getting my head starts to spin when we do this. I haven't eaten today, so I got to eat soon. So I take my back pills. We've been on for 52 minutes. Did you ever meet Evan Seinfeld from Biohazard? I worked with him. Yeah, I did. Well, I could do a whole show about Evan Seinfeld. I've asked him to come on. He doesn't respond. But yeah, Anne Margaret all day. I don't know if I could bang Anne Margaret now. You know, I mean, Anne Margaret's 82 years old. I don't know if I could do it. I'd have to really think about that. Lisa, not Lisa, she's Pat. Priscilla Presley, I met her when she was 69, and I thought she was flirting with me. I'm not going to lie. And I think I could have done it. Yeah, I knew Tara Patrick as well. One day I'll talk about the adult industry. I saw my friend Ginger Lynn the other day. She's in the video for a second, but she's going to come on the show. I haven't figured out how to interview adult performers on this show without getting demonetized. This is a family affair. As you know, everything we say on here is G rated. And so I don't know, but Ginger Lynn was in the Turn the Page video by Metallica, and she was in a lot of movies. She's in the movie The Devil's Rejects. So I think Uh, and so a lot of people don't realize I wrote adult movies, and it's true. I did. I have an AVN award. I never wrote anything that I didn't want to write. To thine own self be true. I was the Shakespeare of ass fucking. I wanted to make sure that I thought it was funny or interesting or whatever I was aiming for. So that's the answer for that. A lot of confusion about Tara Patrick. Elisa apparently is an expert about Evan. Evan was with Tara Patrick first. That didn't work out. Then she was Little Lupe. That didn't work out either. And Evan's back in Biohazard. Ginger Lynn was something else back in the day. Couldn't agree more. I feel like you asked this question last week. Would I invite Mark Torian to co-host? I mean, I would. I think it'd be fun. I think the idea of more co-hosts is something that could happen, especially if I did a morning show. I like Mark. He's an interesting guy. Speaking of Mark, Jimmy the Anda will be here soon. Ronnie Colley, aka Ronnie Sweetheart of the Throbs, will be here soon. Throbs is one of these underrated bands that I remember as a kid in New York City, but a lot of people don't know. And I'd like to talk to him to talk to you. He's got some announcements to make too. So let's see. This says how much to get casted as an extra in the Life, Sex, and Death doc. I can be Stanley's fluffer, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But who knows? I'm already filming that documentary, by the way. It's just not official. Did you work with Jill Kelly or Amber Lynn? I worked with Amber Lynn, and I saw her last weekend and didn't even say hello. Did not work with Jill Kelly. Again, there will be a day when I'll talk about this. I think it might be members only and 18 and over, so I can talk candidly. I grew up in New York City writing screenplays for Trauma and acting with Trauma, Makers of the Toxic Avenger, Class of Nukem High, Surf Nazis Must Die, Sergeant Kabuki Man, NYPD, Nymphoid Barbarian and Dinosaur Hell, Femme Fontaine, Killer Babe for the CIA. The classic movies. And then somehow I ended up in LA, met Ron Jeremy, who's here in the chat right now. And next thing you know, I was writing adult movies. And then at some point, directing them even. It was crazy. It's the most ridiculous life ever. And it doesn't even sound real. And there was a time in my life when I wasn't going to talk about it. There's a lot of things I wasn't going to talk about on this show, but I don't really care what anyone thinks. I hate to have one of these moments when I tell you I give life advice, but I'm going to give you some life advice. The most important thing to remember is that what people tell you means nothing, especially the negative. They don't know anything, and they won't be in your life. Most people who are your friends will not be your friends at the end. Sorry, that's how it works. We meet new people, things change. So people get so sad. I can't believe that person said that to me. I heard so and so. Who cares? To thine own self be true. Don't worry what other people think. It doesn't matter. None of it matters. Don't worry about it. Live your life. Do the best. At the end of the day, you're going to die. So, be positive because that's how it works. All right. I'll tell you everything. My life is an open book. I just have to figure out the ways to do it. My parents are also alive. Some of the things I've done in my life, I mean, do you think my parents want to hear that I banged identical twins? I don't think so. You think my mother's watching right now? Yeah, son of a bitch. Vanessa Del Rio. Vanessa Del Rio is before my time, but that is a New York legend. And I was fortunate to meet her many times. Where is Stevie Rochelle? Well, Steve Rochelle is in Thailand. He's getting a massage with no funny business. Amber Lynn, killer butt, horrible boob job. I might have to agree. Johnny Monaco needs to join the show again. Now listen, I've explained this. Johnny Monaco is taking some time off. He doesn't want to come on here and just sit around and riff like I am. If he has something to talk about, he will come back. Johnny's also in all the tour diaries still. So and Johnny has his own life and his own music, and I recommend you check it out. Okay. Have I ever met Elvira? Well, we're going to be, I have many times, Cassandra Peterson, but I'm going to be at the Creep IE convention. That is January 31st, February 1st, something like that. It's 3 days. Go look it up. Creep IE, and she's going to be there. And you can meet Wednesday 13. And if you have a little extra spillover, you can meet me and Sean Clark as well, and the cast of The Lost Boys. I would love to have Elvira, Cassandra Peterson on the show. I don't know if I have the time. Russell says you're all over the map. I couldn't read a map if my life depended on it. So okay, this is a good one. And FMK, Gingerlyn, Amberlyn, Christy Canyon. It's very easy. Two of these are friends of mine. Amber is an acquaintance. Going to get rid of Amberlyn. I am going to F Gingerlyn, who is 62 years young. I got to text her, by the way. And I'm going to marry Christy Canyon, who I was the closest of all the adult film stars. She's the first one that I was an admirer of her work and a friend. And she's great person. Okay. She's also been married 6 or 7 or 33 times. Wednesday 13 is playing the whiskey in March. Well, you'll be out to go. I will be out of town. This is Tony Hay Munkets. I think you live in Vegas, right? In Vegas. I was wondering if you ever go down to Count Vamp. I love that place. Haven't been there in quite some time. Occasionally there's a charity event. Listen, when I'm home, the last thing I want to do is go see Vane and Pretty Boy Floyd and Enough's Enough. I see these bands constantly on the road, and so it's hard to get me out. But at the right event, I'll be there. I was on a plane a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago now, with Danny the Count Coker, who owns it. Good guy. So, let's see here. So we're discussing Banging Broads, and then I see some Martin Luther King tributes, which, okay, it's an interesting mix, but it is Martin Luther King Day. Is Pretty Boy Floyd still around? Oh, where have you been? You don't know the drama between Steve Sex Summers and Christy Crash Majors? This is front page news. It exists. I will say, I'm going to go on the record and say something controversial. The record Leather Boys with Electric Toys could have been just good a pop glam metal album as any of the others. It could have been just as good as Poison, Faster Pussycat. Just came out at the wrong time. Production was a little weird. I think the Howard Benson record, but I'm telling you, I think that record, the songs on there, Your Mama Don't Know, and Only Want to Be With You, and all these things, these are catchy songs. That band gets a bad rap, but there's definitely some good stuff. Let's see here. Just taking care of a few things. I'm doing a little housekeeping, as they say. Christy, what is that? Oh, Eddie Trunk. Hold on. I'm just trying to get to everything. I saw a comment that I wanted, and where did it go? Oh yeah, here it is. I only want to talk about serious, newsworthy events. Christy Canyon had the best bush back in the day, no question. That Christy Canyon had a bush that would knock your Aunt Connie's socks off. Listen, Danny the Count Customs was my BFF long before Eddie Trunk was in Vegas or anyone knew who he was. And everyone is Eddie Trunk's BFF. I like Eddie Trunk, but already he's telling you how well he knew John Sykes. And the other truth is he will never tell you if someone he likes screws up, he will never call him out. Me, I will. If Johnny Monaco screws up, I'll be the first person to tell you about it. Or Wednesday 13. Or Wednesday 14, whichever. Tony Hay Munkets, thank you for becoming a YouTube member. Much appreciated. Okay. Timothy, a little concerned that he showed up for Bush Talk. A lot of people remembering how great the record Leather Boys with Electric Toys is. One day I'm going to do a show about that record. And I'm going to ask Chris to come on and Sex to come on. And I'm not going to tell them and then pull a surprise. And then I'll get sued. Well, I don't think people are getting mad. They didn't write shit. They stole most of their songs. Well, a guy named Ariel Styles wrote most of those songs. Who was in the band? Who cares? Poison didn't write those songs either. If you're going to try to talk about bands, Poison's biggest hits are directly stolen. There's lawsuits. There's proof. You can hear them. They've been done. Every band borrowed some stuff. I don't care. Record's catchy. So shall it be written, so shall it be done. What band plays a few bars of Black Number One? And the answer would be Quiet Riot, because Johnny Kelly was in Typo Negative, and they play it as a better, as a tribute. Johnny Monaco never screws up except for the invisible pants. Well, listen, some of us think that Johnny Monaco knew that those pants were completely see-through and his ass was out, and that it was a bit. I don't think it was, but you watch the tour diaries and you would see it. Let's see. Yes, Eddie Trunk is scared. And listen, one day, people watching, one day, I'm going to get offered a gig. Serious radio. Listen, somebody is going to realize the talent that is Jason Green, and they are going to say, you know what? I've had it. And look, I thought about doing a show one day where I listen to Sirius live and I tell you what they're saying. I give a transcript they're playing. I don't think I could sell out. That's the problem. You want me to do a show and then go, all right, here's another one. I'm not playing anything that Dave Grohl was ever involved in. I'll tell you that. That's for regular radio. I don't know when Dave Grohl got into playlist. You get in the car and it's either Nirvana or Foo Fighters every second. I'm good. I don't need that. And then some of these glam songs, I don't need to play the same ones a million times. So I think I'm better at unfiltered, uncensored, live, in your face talk radio. Yes, Pretty Boy Floyd is going to play the first uh, Motley Crue record. I don't care about that, but they are going to play some of their songs after. Will Steven play Invasion start to finish? It's being discussed. There is such major news in that world. Steven is going to make an announcement that will just blow your mind. He said this in post, so I'm not talking out of school. Everything that you've thought about the future of Stephen Pearcy is about to be. I don't got time. Who do you think the most overrated band is? I don't know. I don't like to say that the Foo Fighters. I don't like to say that bands are overrated. It's not for me. If you like them, like them. Dave Grohl's Puerto Rican is outstanding. PR, excuse me. Public relations. I get mixed up. Yeah, he can go and bang and have kids and whatever. Who cares? Now, Poker Joker says Eddie Trunk's days are numbered. Messed with the wrong artist. Poker Joker, that's a bold statement. I hope that you will elaborate. Here is Timothy. Timothy, you're asking a question that people ask constantly. Can we get a brief history of what you do and did for your career? Some cool stories, etc. Timothy, I've been thinking about it. In fact, I can't sleep at night. I toss and I turn thinking. I'm joking, but I want to do that. And what I'm thinking is my friend Miguel, who's one of my oldest friends, who's been on the show. I may have him interview me, and then I may give Jason, who's been on the show, a chance, and then maybe he can interview me. He interviewed me for a school project. It's kind of how we met in the beginning. It was interview the coolest person you know, or something like that. Not joking. And maybe he needs to make some new friends. But anyway, I would like to tell you about my career because my life is insane. There's no way to just sum it up. And it wasn't until I got older and closer to death that I realized how insane it is. But I mean, I'm going to give you the briefest version. I grew up in New York City, and I wanted to be an actor. And I went and I worked for a company called Trauma. I told you who they are. And I worked with them, and I ended up screenwriting with them. I wanted to be in the news business as well. And I went to school for investigative broadcast journalism. And I worked for Geraldo Rivera. And I thought my career was either I'm going to be an actor or I'm going to be a talk show host. Those are the things I wanted to be. Here I am acting like a talk show host. So I kind of combined it. And I moved to Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm jumping around. I went to Los Angeles first. I worked on MTV, The Real World, did some writing there, a lot of crazy stuff. And then I came to Las Vegas. I met somebody who owned a classic adult video company. And he said, I own this, but I don't know what to do with it. I'll make you a partner if you do all the work. And I started doing that, and that started taking off. And then next thing you know, I'm winning AVN awards. And then I met some guys and some bands. And I always thought I kind of had an idea how to do cool things. I started putting together managing. I created this thing called Sin City Sinners. I started meeting other bands. I went on the road, worked with Great White for a minute. I went on the road with Winger. I went on the road with RATT. Went on the road with Stephen Pearcy, and here I am. And there's even crazier things in between working in the adult industry and the music industry. I've lived a life. Uh, let's see. Miguel is PR. That is true. They call that a baricua. Jason, are you aware of the comedian Neil Hamburger? No, but I'm very familiar with his brother Bob Hot Dog. I'll have to look it up. I'm trying to get through this. You guys want to keep me here? Super chat. Otherwise, I'm going to dinner. Talk to Eddie Trunk. Listen, I talk to Eddie Trunk all the time. I think he's cool too. I'm really not trying to. Eddie Trunk is what you see is what you get. That's all I can say. Chasey Lane, Tara Patrick, Raquel Darian. Very easy. F. Chasey Lane, get rid of Tara Patrick, marry Raquel Darian. Very easy. And there's some personal things involved. I've met all through those people, even sort of knew them. Did I convince Geraldo to open Al Capone's vaults? I started later than that. I remember when I was young, I cut my hair like Stephen Pearcy. He was my hero. I love that band. I'm with you. Writing on the rear roll. Is it scripted? No, I wasn't writing. But there are, it was not scripted, but in those days, they would tell you where they're going for the day because you have to call ahead. So if one of the kids says, I'm going to a restaurant, you have to call the restaurant and get clearance to film it, things like that. And you took lessons from Nick from Grim Reaper. How did that come about? Nick Bocog from Grim Reaper was writing a column in Circus Magazine. At the back of the magazine, it was a guitar column. And he had a band in New York called Barfly. And I worked with one of the guys in a record store. And I went to meet Nick Bocog at some club. And I said, look, if I'm going to learn guitar, I want someone who's qualified. He writes for Guitar Magazine, Guitar World, and Circus. He's my guy. And anyway, we kind of hit it off. He lived in Hoboken, New Jersey, home of Francis Albert Sinatra. I would take the PATH train. He's a lefty. I am a righty. And it was like looking in a mirror. And that's when I started to learn to play guitar. I never wanted to be a heavy metal shredder. It's not my style. Probably wasn't in my fingers either. Punk rock was in my heart. A lot of people say they like punk rock because it's easy to play. One, it's not easy to play. And two, it's just life is how it was. Any chance of a Pearcy show in New Jersey? Close. I got to text our agent. He screwed it. Did you know he screwed up one of the dates? In that area, yeah. Hang tight. I'm skipping around. It doesn't mean I met Ray Dawn Chong at the AFM American Film Market with Trauma in Santa Monica. She was great, and at that point, still looked like Ray Dawn Chong. How did you meet Sean Clark? That's a good question. I've been going to conventions forever, and Sean has a look. You know, he doesn't wear long pants, and he has spiked black hair, and I knew that he represented a lot of famous people. And I had friends who knew Sean, and I said, and one of my friends, his girlfriend, told me, "You need to watch Sean Clark's YouTube channel. You would really like it." And I watched it, and I go, "You know what? This is pretty cool." He was doing a lot of these things also before other people. I started to realize me and Sean went to a lot of the same places and didn't know each other. We met the same people. And we went to the same conventions. We had this love for collecting, horror and otherwise. Sean's more of a horror guy than I am, but and music. And so Sean was in the comments sometimes, and people would tell me I didn't even realize. I go, "Oh, he watches," but that's great because I watch him. And at some point, I said, I think we messaged each other. I can't remember how, and we got on the phone and we talked for 6 hours. The first time we spoke, 6 hours, and we hit it off. And it's hard to find friends, especially in your 50s. And me, Sean, and Wednesday just hit it off, and we just have so much in common, and we have so many laughs, and we all have colorful careers as well. Anyway, check out Sean and Wednesday here on Wednesday, hopefully with Sid Croft. I got to message him. Make a note of that. Here comes someone trying to correct me. Greetings, Jason from Las Vegas. John Sykes definitely played guitar with Whitesnake in '84 alongside veteran drummer Cozy Powell, but he also recorded in the studio. Like, I don't know. Isn't that what I said? Pearcy show, Tampa, Orlando. Haven't seen one. Jason, why do you, Wednesday, and many others love BJ so much? What's the lore? Russell, it's a good question. I don't love BJs as much as everybody else. I find it's better to give than to receive sometimes, and then some people just aren't good at it. But the I think it's overdrawn, the BJs. It's because there's one close to Wednesday's house, and somehow we end up there, or sometimes it's open late, and blah blah blah. It's okay. I don't think it's great. And the Bazooki thing, it's at it. One time, I hosted an event for cystic fibrosis. I had a close friend who passed away because of that disease, and I hosted a charity event. I used to host a lot of events. There was a lot more than just dick jokes, but they asked me to keep mentioning the sponsor was BJ's, and if you go, you get a free Bazooki. I didn't even know what it was at the time. So I am so childish that maybe it didn't go well. Are you still doing Sid Croft Live? It's coming up. I have to confirm with Sid to make sure. We love you guys at the Arcada, St. Charles, Illinois. I love the Arcada. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that we're going to be back at the Arcada. I don't know if it's announced, but if I'm not allowed to say it, I did not. If it's announced, I can't wait to see you. So that's that. It's good to see Michelle in the Ace video. Wish she was in all the episodes. Well, you know what? I agree. A little eye candy, a little somebody with some common sense. Also point out Michelle edited that video. Give her some credit. The production department is the new thing here. The shipping department. Now we're the production department. There's so much stuff to do that thankfully she has learned to edit. And more Michelle. Yes. We love Michelle. Yes. Her head is going to be so swollen. Now I'm going to have to buy her a more expensive dinner. Maybe super chat, please. Thank you. I said I'm going to come. Blas, spelled wrong, a typo, is eye candy. I agree. Handsome fella. You already got your tickets. All right, well, then it's announced. I'll see you at the Arcada Theater in Illinois. I can't wait. I hope it's warm when we get there. And Maria, I look forward to seeing you there too. Maria, I'm going to get to the Arcada area, and I'm going to walk the neighborhoods, and I'm going to yell at Maria at every window like West Side Story and wonder why more women didn't open the window. Mayberry Mafia is Team Michelle. What does this mean? How long is the CV now, Michelle? I don't even know what that means.
It's another word for resume.
What? I think I'm hearing things. I think it's another word for resume. Is Blas coming back to Pearcy? Yes. Yes, he will. Blas will be back this January at Spokane, Washington, whatever that means. Wherever that is. Whoever's there. Maybe Vixen's going to be there. More compliments for Michelle. Michelle is a hottie. Michelle is super smart. Lucky dude, that Jason. Yes, I'm going to have to. Michelle will have no time to waste when she gets a lawyering job. Well, she's already handling, I'm not allowed to tell you what she does because client perpetrator confidentiality or whatever it's called. But she's already represented a very famous, massive platinum rock star. It's crazy. Pretty soon I could stop working. Yes, Bloss is no longer trans, but for those who are concerned, this fall he will go back to being trans. The Siberian, that is. I'm from Spokane. I've never been in Vegas for 23 years now. Got to work, bro. Thank you. Michelle for governor. I'm devastated over John Sykes. Yeah, bummer. And yes, Michelle does the best Johnny Monaco impression. Craig Ass has a pretty good one too. No one ever talks; they just do a physical impression. Yeah, Stephen Pearcy has excellent musicians. That's because I hired the ones that are excellent. So put that in your pipe and smoke it. Amy says, "Hey everyone, welcome, Amy." Frank says he's batting 0% tonight. Don't know what that means. Stephen at the Arcada Theater, August 16th. You have no worry, it's going to be a late summer in Chicago. Effing hot. We're a little bit hot tonight. Just saw a Trans Bloss, great show, nice. Tried. Yes. You do the best Dana Strum. I was talking about Dana Strum this morning. I forgot what I was talking about. Well, I was saying we got to book these flights and they're difficult. And Dana says, now I know these guys want to sleep in bed like a bunch of teenagers, but you've got to get on the first flight. First flight has the less chance of delays. And, that's Dana Strum. And in my new video, you'll hear my Ace Frehley impression that apparently people are enjoying. AZ, nice to see you, AZ. Can we hear more about your business plan after Sep's band retired? Oh, you guys are putting me in the grave. You act like tomorrow I got to come up with a new job. I don't know. Do you need me to come paint your house? I mean, I'm not really ready. My goal is to stay on YouTube until I can no longer do it. I want to drop dead on this show. My blood sugar is very high right now, so it could happen. But I just want to drop dead right here and asking about plans. By the way, I saw Snake and Rachel from Skid Row yesterday, and I told them, look, you guys come on the show, and dude, why would you? I can't do it right now. Last time I did it, I got so sick. My throat is off. I'll do it another time. Today, we're only doing Dana Strum and deep impressions. Maurice, really. This is, my newest channel member. I jumped in late, really enjoyed the channel. There was a lot of fun. Thank you. Thank you so much. And you know what's great about this channel? There's 100 years of content to go back and watch. Hoping for at least another year, Stephen. Yeah, you and me both. I cannot wait for the cruise diaries after March. Last year's Ace Cruise was 10 stars out of 10 content, entertainment-wise, and the scenery, aesthetics, top notch. Well, this is going to be crazier. You thought that was good? Let me take a drink, and then I'll tell you more. We are going to be going on the Monsters of Rock and the 80s Cruise. 80s Cruise comes first. 8 days at sea. Every day I will have an upload. And not the usual bullshit. Quality. You are going to see everything. The insides and the outs. From the brig to the buffet. Everything. And I'm going to take you to Puerto Rico. I'm going to take you to the Dominican Republic. I'm going to take you to the Bahamas. We're going everywhere. And it's going to be amazing. It's going to be nice to be away from this country for a little while. And then also, Monsters of Rock, I'm going to show you the bands. You're going to get interviews. If you haven't subscribed, you better get on it. Okay. I got to get out of here soon. LA Guns has a new record out in April. Hope it's good. If it's called Cocked and Loaded and you're buying an old one, it probably will be. Let's see. Lorraine, I'm at 42 Steven shows. I'm hoping to make it to 50. Monsters of Rock cruise and Connecticut show will be 43, 44, and 45. Well, there's going to be an announcement any day now for the biggest Stephen Pearcy show. I can't say anything. Is Warren the holdout for a RATT reunion? These are the questions that I'm not insulting the question, but there's so much false information out there. There's this whole bullshit thing. I've said this on the show before. In my conversations with Warren DeMartini, he was not the holdout. There's one person that every member of RATT dislikes and blames. I can't say who, and that's that. Are you still dealing with the Stone issue? Yes, unfortunately. Yes, I am. Would like see a Faster Pussycat tour. They never not tour. Those guys, I think I hear them play in my bathroom right now. You know, they're never not playing. Wherever there's electricity, those guys will play. Loving the show. Definitely escaped from today. Yes. Well, there's no reason to have to escape Martin Luther King Day. He should be honored. Max the drummer. San Juan, Puerto Rico. Vivo Beach Club. I live in Puerto Rico Island for years. How incredible, Max. Nice to see you. Did I get to meet you when Stephen played at the Vivo Beach Club? I love Puerto Rico. And I hope maybe I can see you. I'm definitely a fan of the island, of the food, everything, of the big butt women, all of it. I don't know if I should say that. Love these cruise diaries. Upside down pineapples. Well, this year, they've now one of the cruises has banned upside down pineapples, but the other one says it's okay. I was thinking about bringing some upside down pineapples and putting them on people's rooms randomly, like, and see what happens. Like, wouldn't it be great if I put an upside down pineapple on Johnny's door and then wait for the hijinks to ensue? You know, well, what do you want? People come in, just start taking their clothes off, and you just, what is this all about? The guy in RATT, everyone thinks because I've had a tumultuous relationship with Ali Blatz, everyone thinks that's who I'm talking about. It's not the guy. Not the guy. Someone on here did get it right. That person's name is Chris. Monster Rock says no door decorations. Yeah, I don't want to say anything, but that's bullshit. On the 80s cruise, I will have so many decorations on my door, you won't be able to find the door. And I'm going to really represent the 80s. I'm going to have a photo of Christy Canyon's asshole where the doorknob is. And, that's the 80s. That's what you want to remember. I've been asking Michelle if we can hang up a naked picture of Beverly D'Angelo in the shower from Vacation in our bathroom. I found the picture. So far, negotiations aren't going that well. Do you think Dancing Undercover is underrated? 100%. Yeah, another great glam album. Great. I think it's a little poppy for some, but no, it's underrated. All right, I got to get out of here soon. You can visit Juan Epstein's house in Puerto Rico. Do you think that that's a different Epstein Island, Juan Epstein of Welcome Back, Kotter fame? And look, some people told me that us trick-or-treating was too long in the last video because people would leave goods on the doors. In the last video, Michelle and I went trick-or-treating, cruise video, but we went on like the last day. We didn't know they had free shit for everybody. So this year, first night, we're hitting people's rooms. We are coming home with a stash. I also will let you know that I intend to have new guitar picks to give to people on both of those cruises, cruise exclusives, if you will. Yeah, absolutely, and absolutely, and absolutely. Thank you, hey, Hard Chick. Thank you for the super chat because I got to pay for dinner. If you could only afford one to choose, which would you go on? Oh, God, you had to ask a question I'm not supposed to answer. Would you go on Monsters or 80s? We're planning 2026. Maybe message me. Here's the problem. They compete with each other. And it's hard to say what's better. And I'm going to give you a couple examples now. If you want to see heavy metal bands, the Monsters of Rock cruise is the band for you. If you want to see bands, by the way, I just said I'm not going to answer it, and now I'm answering. And there's bands from day and night. If you're looking to be on a boat watching bands from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., even later, they got bands for you and more bands. So if you're into heavy metal, Monster Rock is for you. If maybe you don't want to be at sea for every day, Monster Rock is only 5 nights, I think. It might be better for you. Now, if you like 80s bands, just 80s music, not metal, you'll like Monsters of Rock. If you, excuse me, the 80s cruise, obviously. If you're looking to do shore excursions, which I am looking to do, if you want to get off the boat for a full day and explore, 80s is more your option. You get off the boat. There's no bands playing during the day. It's a tighter schedule. I enjoyed it. I really had a good time. On the Monsters of Rock cruise, I know almost every single person. On the 80s cruise, I didn't really know a lot of people. So it was easy just to kind of blend in and do nothing. I mean, be a common folk. I like both, by the way, and I recommend both. I saw someone in the 80s cruise group. They were looking for bands to play. And they said one was Tesla and the other one was, I can't remember, but they're both on the Monster Rock cruise. I'm like, you're asking for bands. Um, so, okay. Okay, hold on. This is JJ. JJ's question is, how in advance do you have to book me and my fiance, 8, looking to get married next year? So this would be our honeymoon. I'm not sure what you're asking, JJ. How in advance? Do you want me to marry you? Is that what you're asking? I mean, I can do it. I am an ordained jackass. I think you're asking how far do you have to book the cruise. I got it. Right as of right now, 80s and Monsters of Rock are not sold out. Now you're talking about 2026, so well, you got some time. You just got to get in there. My reading comprehension is not what it used to. Much like John Sykes, I haven't been able to get over the Whitesnake fire. You should do a segment of trick or treating for each floor, and we can vote which was the best. Glenn, now you're talking. I might have to hire you for the writing staff, be a producer on the show. It's a good idea, and I think it'd be fun. And yeah, you're welcome, JJ. But yeah, I'm telling you, it's gonna be the best content. I'm looking to rehaul the entire show, and then I got to get out of here. I need a new camera, new computer, new microphones, new lights, new sounds. I have gotten by on nothing, scraps, for the longest time. I'm taking this channel serious, as you can tell by my serious answers. This entire show, I think this V-neck has been not proper, and it's been driving me crazy. Sorry. I had a tribute dedicated to RATT in Puerto Rico for I hope you didn't use the logo. 14, 15, and 16. Very cool. And I hope we'll see you in Puerto Rico. A new mic that doesn't fade out so much when you lean back. Well, yeah. When I lean back like this, I'm not near any microphone. In fact, there's no microphone. If we were going to do the show like this, I would say, hello, everybody, over, and then you would comment. Did Debbie Gibson's feet really look that good in person? Well, I mean, did you like them in the video? I thought they looked good. I'm not a fan of feet. I wish I was. If I could be sexually attracted to feet, I would be at the beach all day, every day, just dropping loads constantly, just like everywhere I go, feet. Everywhere I look, my whole life would just be looking at feet. It doesn't really do anything for me. With that said, Debbie Gibson had nice looking feet. And for a dancer, you think her dogs would be worn out, but no, I think they look good. I mean, yeah, you see the video. That's one of the biggest videos I've ever put out. How often do autograph hounds show up at airports like the one did to Blas? More often than you would think. It happens mostly at festivals because people are waiting for all the bands to come in. Sometimes we sort of outsmart the uh, sometimes we sort of outsmart it, whatever. Listen, it's okay to want to meet your favorite people. I do it. You see me at these conventions, but to bring 50 things just to flip to resell, it's lame. It's lame. And yeah, Maria, are you into Debbie Gibson's feet? Is that something that you might want to heavy metal parking lot reunion? That would be good. There's a movie called Heavy Metal Parking Lot, filmed outside a Judas Priest concert. All right, boy, we had so much fun. Are Don Dock and Stephen Pearcy friends? Not that I know of. I mean, I'm sure they knew each other at some point, but it's not somebody I ever hear Stephen talk about it. Ludwig House of Violin was in the heavy metal parking lot. How cool. Well, maybe we should talk about it. Send me a message. I think people would be interested. John's death is a tragic death. He was mistreated by the music and free. Yeah, I listen. I don't want to talk ill of the dead, but I think he was difficult also, and maybe it was because of how bad things were. Okay, you just watched the video. Yeah, I'm hoping maybe Tiffany's feet will be popular this year. I mean, listen, feet is a long shot. Maybe Tiffany's got great jugs. Maybe we can make a video and call it Tiffany's Jugs. Tiffany has just been called in. Do you and Michelle have a Netflix recommend? I'm thinking you're asking if we watch anything on Netflix. I haven't watched Netflix. My back is killing me. I haven't watched Netflix too often. I have it. I don't have a recommendation. I'm going to work on it. It's going to be a new theme. Michelle doesn't watch TV. You, Sean, and Wednesday 13 are the coolest. So thank you so much. I appreciate that. Ankles will be in this year. Well, we're going to see what happens. We'll see what happens. Mark, I'll get back to you on the recommendation. I watch the same shit as everyone else. Cobra Kai and those toys, the history of toys. Here, what do I know? Michelle's got recommendations. She likes Longmire, Bridgerton, and Forensic Files. Sorry, I was nodding off. These titles are so boring. I have a Mark Almond faceless lift fetish. Well, that is in my videos. Nina Hartley was amazing. Yes, I'm dated. Well, Nina Hartley had one of the most famous asses in the world of asses. Did I say anything today that could get me demonetized? Let me reflect. Oh, Maria is a Bridgerton fan as well. Look at that. Is Jason an ass guy or a boobs guy? We used to ask Howard Stern this, and he would say, I'm a vagina guy. I don't know if I would say maybe I'm an ass guy. I think it depends on the day of the week or the hour of the day. But I think, yeah. Whoops. Hey, Mr. Cotter. Thank you, Gabe, for joining us. He's a fan of BDSM. Not really my favorite thing, but listen, night is young. May I ask, are you a bassist and a guitarist? I learned to play the bass, guitar first. I'm more of a guitar player. Well, I played bass more. I don't know. I think I'm better at playing the bass, but I know the basics of the guitar. I don't take music that serious. Oh boy, we're having so much fun. There's still way over 300 people. How could I go eat and leave you guys hanging? Anyone want to send me a gift certificate? Do we know where we're going? Michelle, are you watching at home? If you are, let's think about what we're going to have for dinner. And we'll use these super chats. So there's a movie called The Substance. I only watched the nude scenes. I went online, I found the nude scenes, and I watched it. Demi Moore, who is 79 years young, completely naked, and then Margaret Qualley, I think her name is. Anyway, yeah, it was good. Maybe I'll watch the rest of the movie another time. Uh, oh, thank you, Max. Max says he remembers me having a show at the dive bar. Very cool. Hey, look at that. A super sticker. Appreciate that. Thank you. Uh, I don't. Okay, thank you. What if I show the same one over and over again? Oh my God, another. Thank you so much, Tony. Hey, Munkets. Let's see. Dave Navarro or Flea. Oh, jackasses. I mean, maybe Dave Navarro. I don't know. I don't know. People saying that maybe, are you saying, JJ, are you saying that Margaret Qualley used a body double? That's sad if it's true. Demi did not. Whatever. Look, it's too late to get that load back. You know what I mean? It's done. So shall it be written. No, a horror chick. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. No, the stuff I enjoyed. They sold replica stuff. Need to get that. Oh boy, I'm getting tired. Yo, did you ever meet? Yeah, I met all the Metallica guys multiple times. Um, by all, I mean the Justice for All lineup. Back then, they were nice enough characters. Now, who the hell knows? Nobody double. Yeah, I don't know. You guys are wearing me out. Um, let's recap. John Sykes has passed. Let's go over all the big events for today. One, Dr. Martin Luther King Day. Man had a message. Man had a dream. Keep keep that in mind. It's funny that Dr. Martin Luther King was so famous for saying, "Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last." And then you start to wonder, are we actually that free? I don't know. That's up to you. Also, very tragic. John Sykes passed away uh, uh, in the last few days. Very sad. And it reminds us, and we say this all the time. Thank you to cigars and watches. I'm happy to spend time with you. Waste time, even. Um, go see your favorite bands. Don't wait. We're all getting older. And those of you who are younger, who are fans of this genre of music, you got to see what you can see, because there's not much left. Let's see. And then other than that, I would like if you would go watch some videos. That's what helps me the most. Go watch some videos. There's tour diaries for everyone. New one coming out. My tour of Castle Noel, Jason and his twin brother Jack. Those are not the identical twins, if you're wondering. Well, they are, but not the. And we went to this Christmas museum, and that's going to be. It's coming out for members only. It's going to be a few weeks where you see it before anyone else. So sign up. And then you can also watch me going to meet Anne Margaret in Burbank. You can go watch me meeting Ace Frehley, and which is also a fun a video. There's tons of content. I'll be back Wednesday live. Wow, I wish. Listen, Tim, you're talking my language. Looking for love? No, I doubt it'll ever happen. Bo Hill really produced the vocals very high on that record. And so some of the songs like Dance, which I wish we could get in the set, would be played. But there was a guy named Bill Margold. He played my dad in an adult movie, crazy enough. He was nominated for an award. I wrote the movie based off my dad. And Bill Margold, though, was this guy, legend. He was a stunt double for John Holmes, Bill, not my dad. And there was a famous scene in a movie called Olympic Fever where John Holmes had to get in a pool and he said, the water is too cold and it's going to make my wiener look small. And they had to find somebody who had a giant wiener. John Holmes' wiener was 13 or so inches. and Bill Margold was able to stand in. He passed away, I don't know, 7, 8 years ago, but either today or yesterday. And he was really a historian of the adult industry. And I think it is such an interesting industry. There was just so much about the 80s. And now that adult things, me and Ginger Lynn had a long talk about this, are so accessible on your phone that it's not the same. It's become silly. Anyway, I don't know one reason why I brought that up, but in my mind, I had an amazing segue to tell you these great stories about Bill Margold. Oh, I got it. He did a podcast much like mine, and during the podcast, he dropped dead. And that's how I feel right now, and I got to get out of here. Isn't it funny how these segues come back? I did not know Jim Holiday. Jim Holiday was a very good friend of Bill's. I think I met him, but I wish I would have known him better. Maybe I won't list my IMDb here right now. Aside from working with Stephen Pearcy, you're currently involved in other musical projects. I put on music in the car, change the dial. I don't know. I'm working on so many things. Would you ever get King's X on your channel? Possibly. Comes up. Anyway, I got to go. I hate to leave with so many people, but they say sometimes you need to leave them wanting more. So for those of you, I also directed Herschel Savage in the greatest performance of his life. If you pass on a live stream, it will get demonetized. That would be bullshit because I would want that money to go on. Anyway, as Mr. Rogers would do at the end of every episode, it's time to take off my clothes and get the hell out of here. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Please go watch some other videos. Join me Wednesday. We're going to have a real fun show with Sean on Wednesday. You guys are all great. And listen, I expected to have an immature chat. And obviously, this was nothing but top-notch maturity. But I expected to be a lot of idiots. They were not. You guys were great. The conversation was fun. You made me happy. You saved me on therapy for the day. And maybe I hope I could do the same for a few of you. I'll see you on Wednesday. Thank you for watching.
Just wanna waste some time with you.